On the subject, because he mentions Layla regularly throughout it, do you feel that that there's like deeper, truly deeper meaning and truly deeper, like worthwhile study there, or do you feel it's more like something that was just personal to him?
Oh no, I think that it would probably help people out to look at Layla Wydell a bit and like who she was and what kind of her deal was and her interactions with Crowley and stuff like that. But I think that Crowley is including her because she was the big figure in his life at the time. But I don't think he necessarily attached anything deeper than that. She was a manifestation of Nui, a manifestation of Babylon, and to that extent, yes. But I mean, there's even like later on in his life when he talks about like what happened after they kind of separated or parted ways or whatever, and like in his opinion, she could no longer really play music the way she used to be able to, and like he felt like she lost a lot of her artistic force, which is the same thing that he said about Victor Newberg, basically that he was when he was with Crowley, he was a great poet, and then he kind of lost his poetic force after he disassociated with him. A lot of people interpret that as sour grapes. Crowley not liking to have the situation go the way it did, but then again, it's kind of hard to say because you have to hear a play, I guess, and make a decision.
What about the poetry?
You can read Victor Newberg's poetry, yeah.
Before and after, is there a difference?
Honestly, I haven't studied his poetry, but if someone was interested in determining that would be an interesting thing to look at.
It seems like it could be more than sour grapes. Maybe he's just trying to warn people, but like in an egotistical way, like, oh, if you leave me, things will get worse for you.
Well, I think that it's I personally think that it's more than sour grapes because I don't think that I think that if Crowley was going to put someone down, like he's more than happy to put people down, and he doesn't usually need to invent excuses to do it. He's pretty comfortable just saying that he thinks someone's an idiot, pretty much. He doesn't usually have to justify it with other stuff. It's one more case where just like I understand. Like I think it's important to know who Layla was, and I think it's important to know who Crowley was. Like there's one point in one of the comments where he does say, like if you don't understand my personal life, if you don't understand like what's going on, who Aleister Crowley is, then this won't make sense to you. Like there's no way for us to communicate this, because he is talking about something so personal as the destruction of an ego. If you don't clarify what exactly the ego is that's getting destroyed, then you don't get the full message. You don't get the full impact. And I think that's true of many things. I mean, Crowley says in his introduction, I actually think it's from his Confessions, where he's these visions I have, like they could never mean as much to other people as they mean to me, and so on and so forth, which is important. But at the same time, what he's describing here aren't visions. They're not like these received experiences. They're not spiritual communications. They're Crowley trying to communicate with us through means that are very similar. I actually liken it to, if you look at some older alchemical texts, stuff like the Keys of Eudoxus or Basil Valentine, and you look at the kind of artwork that was associated with those ideas and those expressions, you would find because this wasn't something that people were comfortable talking about openly, so it would be depicting chemical processes and in a way like formula with like these elaborate paintings of mythical creatures where it's made to understand that like this refers to that substance and this refers to the other thing, and then this is their interaction. You look at the picture, and although it is a formula and in a sense that it's a direction, it's not like written out instructions. It's something you have to take in and try to understand and take apart and choose to express it in another way. I think Crowley's doing that with words in a lot of sense. He's packing information into these little did I always use the word talismanic? I think that they're like talismans essentially. Or the book itself is a talisman, but the individual psalm should be looked at in that way as well, and sort of deconstructed in that way, which is a big difference than Crowley trying to give us instructions on how to do magic, or Crowley relating to us the story of what an angel said to him in a vision and stuff like that. It's not.
That's kind of what I was implying earlier. Like that maybe the study of these kind of creates almost like alchemical process in your psyche that
yeah, I think that's a good.
Change you or something.
I think that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, it's not that he's trying to keep it secret; it's that he's trying to get you to figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, so that you
and because
come to the conclusion on your own.
But also because the conclusion isn't going to be something just easily expressible. It's not going to be something you could just tell someone and they would get. And I think this is, in a lot of ways, this is one of the biggest problems for the occult community, because it does create this this rift where it is true there's a lot of these secrets and truths and spiritual states which are not expressible by regular terms. At the same time, a lot of people will hide behind the fact that they're claiming to have knowledge that's not expressible by regular terms but can't demonstrably have it, or don't demonstrably have it, or they're just apparently like talking. And I think that's why it's important for people to test each other and to like try to verify, what is this person capable of producing, what you would expect a person who has access to that information capable of producing. What are they coming out with? Like what are they? I take a line through Jesus and say that by their fruits ye shall judge them. I think that's very similar to the Book of the Law saying success is your proof. If you see someone like coming up with this stuff that's interesting and dynamic and engaging and really does make you think and reaches you on that kind of level, like Crowley does with this stuff, then that's the reason that I sort of credit the idea that he had the spiritual attainments that he did. Whereas, you have other people who claim, similar titles. Madame Blavatsky is a perfect example of a Crowley of contemporary of Crowley's. And if you look at what she came up with, she has a couple interesting pieces, but it's certainly not comparable to anything that Crowley came up with. Although in her time, she was certainly regarded as a far more enlightened spiritual leader by a great number more people who had really significant influence.
I think it hurt her credibility a lot when people discovered their seances were hoaxes.
Yeah.
Automatically, it's like, well, can I trust anything she says?
Yeah.
Crowley was never disproven on anything.
Yeah, because Crowley
proven a sham.
Yeah, he didn't rely on physical phenomena and stupid stuff like parlor tricks to try and impress people.
Exactly.
Yeah, listen, Crowley's rants against the spiritualists and the confessions are always really good. I really like those.
The back of the book says there's 93 poems, but there are only 92 poems. Is that a typo, or is there one missing in this edition?
Isn't there 0 poems?
Yeah, this only goes to 91.
Yeah, it only does. I don't know. I don't know why they say that. That always confused me too.
I just assumed they omitted the one with the OGO secret when they published it.
That would fuck up the numbering, though.
That's what I was going to say. Maybe it's the secret of Freemasonry.
Yeah, it would fuck up the numbering.
The first poem is Sabbath of the Goat, and then there's the 0,
and then 0.
And then technically you can consider the question mark and the exclamation mark, the soldier and the hunchback thing.
Oh, the image is
well.
a poem?
Yeah, I think each of them is a separate poem. So with the 0, and then, because those ones are sort of like iron soft.
Oh, nice.
And then,
I didn't think of it like that, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
So, I remember reading that somewhere. So
that would make 95 verses rather than 93.
Yeah.
So now there's more than 93?
No, that
makes
93.
93.
Yeah.
Because the numbering goes to 91.
The goat was before 0.
But that was 0. No, the goat one was 0.
Oh, okay.
And then
so
those two bring it to 93.
Yeah. Those two are 1. Okay.
Which reflects the tree of life thing again. Give your 3 forms of nothingness.
So does that make sense? Yeah, I guess you're right. Anyway.
No, I never thought about that. Just the question mark.
Actually, that was one of my favorite things. Like, even before I read this book, I read about it from one of Crowley's other writings, or from something about Crowley or something, and it was saying how, like, there was the 2 facing pages that were a chapter that were the question mark and the exclamation mark, and that was just one of those things that immediately sort of lit off something in my head, like, that makes total sense. Yeah. But that's actually probably the most concise way to demonstrate that, like what you're saying about the fact that it's like, it's not that he's trying to hide information, it's like he's basically trying to provoke thought and insight and that sort of thing.
That makes me wonder if when he was publishing it without the explanation, if it was just a question mark. So that would be kind of interesting too. I haven't seen an edition of it from that time.
Well, like,